Hi. I have the good fortune of speaking with one of America's and the world's possibly most prominent actors, Matthew McConaughey. He's been regarded by his colleagues as a pleasure to work with, and it's not bad to look at, to say the least. So I'd like to bring on Matthew.
I'm here to see you. You're not interviewing me, buddy. I mean, we're on the same page. You know, you open the book of life. We're both on page 48.
Right. Well,
your radio station's turned to mine. We're both listening to 103.5 Kiss FM. We're both doing the same thing. So.
Well, let's turn it a little bit to your new book, Green Lights, and how that came about, how that started for you, and what that journey was like writing it.
Well, journey's the right word to use. They said I need a ghostwriter. I said I'm not a ghost yet. I'm still a human being. So what I did was I went out to the desert with 45 journals. And I'm sure you would agree with me. I filled out every single journal in every single language I could think of. English, Spanish, even a made-up language I called McConaughey's. And what I learned was they're all the same. Your past and your future are inverted of each other. You start born. You're not alive before you're born.
Yes.
For me, it's all about feedback. It's what the earth gives me. It's what I give the earth. It's what the earth nourishes me with. I put water in the earth. I get seeds, plants, tomatoes. I eat the tomato, and I put the tomato back in the earth.
I want to turn the conversation over to some of your films and some of the films I've been watching lately. So your physical transformations in a lot of these roles are quite significant, substantial to say the least. By what process did you go about transforming your body, to get into shape for some of these roles? I mean, your back, stomach, even your nipples are glistening in the wind. How did you accomplish that?
I took a trip to Zimbabwe when I was 15, and I had no money, no food, no water, because I didn't want any food or water. In that journey, I found the only thing that transforms your body is your mind. The only thing that transforms your mind is your environment.
Right.
The only thing that changes your environment is the way you look at your environment. And the only way to look at your environment differently is by changing your body. So it's actually, you do need to change your body in the beginning in order to change it in the end. So it's kind of a whole big loopsy-doopsy, upsy-turvsy.
I have to admit that whatever you did over the course of those early days and getting in shape really worked, man. Michaela and I, we watched those movies, man, frame by frame. And I don't mean it in that way, but, I'm saying if I did, I would, so.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that, but.
That's what I would say. I'd like to turn the conversation over to some of your notable performances over the years, especially the ones I've been struck by in particular. So if you want to talk about that.
When I was working on Dallas Buyers Club, it was...
Well, we could talk about that, but I meant some of the early rom-coms, I mean, How to Lose a Man in 10 Days, that was really something. How did you prepare for Ben in that scenario, in that case?
Well, Ben was... he was like the funny guy.
Oh man, he was really something, and he really, he did everything. She was trying to really get him to lose her, she was doing everything, that the radical feminist movement was trying to get her to do, and he was not buying it at all, man, and you played that quite well.
Right, and I had to do that in order to sort of build the confidence to do like True Detective. And in True Detective...
I'd say the radical feminists today, they're telling you how to lose a man in 10 minutes or 10 seconds even, That movie was about losing a guy in 10 days, and she couldn't even do it. And I think it really articulated the necessity for stable relationships, and you pulled that off quite well, and it was quite fun to watch,
I see what you're saying. Stable relationships, that's what builds us. And when I was filming Interstellar, it's all about stable relationships. And I thought that's where I grew as an actor.
Right, well, that's an interesting film. I mean, it's more science fiction. It's out of my wheelhouse. I'm more of a clinical psychologist, which brings me also to Failure to Launch, how you did Trip. I mean, tell me about Trip and the process that you had to go through to develop Trip in Failure to Launch.
Failure to Launch. Well, that was sort of the beginning of my journey, whereas before I was, enlightened. I think what Failure to Launch did was they brought me to Contact, and Contact brought me to Interstellar.
I'll tell you what it did. It gave me a bloody laugh, man, because I've been, coaching people for many, many years on how to launch their own lives and their careers. And I think it really spoke to that deep level of human development that's lacking. Spent a lot, trying to get people to launch their own lives and determine the path that they should set forward to be productive members of society. So what Tripp did, man, that was really something. And Sarah Jessica Parker didn't have it easy there too. What was it like working with her?
Well, I'd love to talk about consciousness if you were down, or would you rather talk about Sarah Jessica Parker?
Well, consciousness, when she did Sex and the City, the movies, I thought they really lacked consciousness,
Sure, yeah. So I think you're getting at is being enlightened, finding your vision, driving the car of your life.
You would say more like planning, planning your life.
Planning, the green lights. You can't plan the green lights. All you have to do is you can plan the next step. I didn't plan to be in Wolf of Wall Street.
On the subject of planning, who did a good job planning was the wedding planner, J-Lo. I thought that was fantastic, a phenomenal performance, really quite believable. So
yeah. I mean, she's great.
Not a badass either.
Uh-huh.